So let's start with the first fight. For the first fight of the night, we have Jorge Gonzalez versus Kenneth Bergh at 205 pounds. Tell me what you think about this fight.
This fight's an interesting one. I really don't know that either of these guys deserve a shot in the UFC based on what I've seen. I think Bergh has a little bit more popularity than Jorge there, just based off of, he's a knockout artist. He comes in there.
He's been given
He's a
couple
bull.
opportunities.
Yeah, he's been given some opportunities. Jorge's, he's kind of a big deal coming out of Mexico, and he's kind of a knockout artist too.
So let's talk a little bit about those guys and their records a little bit. So Jorge Gonzalez, he's 16-4. He's 6 feet tall. He's also 36 years old, so he's the older guy. He's making his UFC debut, but he is also coming off of a five-win streak with 5 wins by knockout.
Yep.
So let's look over at Kenneth Bergh. Kenneth Bergh is 8-0, but that doesn't include his losses on The Ultimate Fighter because that's an exhibition match. And he also lost on Dana White's Contender Series, but that match was overturned to a no contest because the opponent that he faced ended up testing positive for steroids.
Yep.
So he does have a couple of losses. They're just not on his record. It's every chance that he's had to get into the UFC, though. He's come up short.
He's kind of come up short there.
Real short.
So when it comes to both these guys, man, I was watching a few of their fights, and one thing I noticed about Jorge is he's really flat on his feet, and he just kind of walks forward and he just wings his punches out there.
Yeah.
He's just looking to knock you out. That's really about it.
He puts his chin down.
Yeah.
He puts his chin down and he just kind of takes some punches. Like I wrote here, he doesn't move his head. He walks straight forward.
He doesn't move his head at all.
He's willing to take a punch to give a punch. He does have good power.
He has good power. He's only been out of the first round one time in his entire career.
Yeah, that's kind of
crazy. And it was a loss. It was a decision loss.
Yep.
To Nasrudinov.
I didn't put the name down, but
yeah, I've got that one there, and that's so if you can get it to the ground, it looks like that's his weakness. He was easily controlled on the ground.
I would think that that's both their weaknesses.
Yeah. He has a few submission victories, but that's when he's on top, like when he lands on top. Like Jorge, Kenneth has only been out of the first round once. You already mentioned his loss to Eric Spicely on Tough 23. One thing that I did like about...
It was a first-round loss.
First-round loss, yep. One thing that I did like about Bergh, though, is he seems to be lighter on his feet, and he throws much cleaner punches. Like, his boxing is much cleaner.
I would agree. I thought that his boxing was cleaner, and I also think that he does a pretty good job when he's on top.
He does. He likes to pull guard, though, a lot, too, from what I noticed.
I don't feel like he's very good on bottom.
I don't know that he's very good on bottom, but I've seen him pull guard when going for some guillotines and stuff like that.
Yeah, but that's because he's not really trying to pull guard. He's trying to lock in those submissions.
Oh, yeah.
He gets a lot. He does have submissions. I think he has 5 submissions, if I remember.
Yeah, he's got a few submission victories on there.
And a lot of them are guillotine choke,
Yeah.
But it's all power. It's not technique. And he's a really big guy. He's got an athletic body. His striking is technical.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel like, though, that he really likes to take a punch himself.
No. I think
that's where he starts shooting and trying to get it to the ground. Yeah. And if he can overpower the guy on the ground, he does a good job on top.
Yeah. I think he's not going to want to stand with Jorge. Jorge can take a punch.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, the dude can take a punch.
Yeah, and he doesn't seem to get broken. He seems to just keep walking forward. He's like a zombie walking forward.
Yeah, he just plods forward and swings. So I think the path to victory for Bergh here is to go take this to the ground. And where, like I said, I don't think that Jorge is very good at all.
Yeah.
So I've got Bergh actually winning this fight with a first-round submission. Where are we at with you?
Wow, so we are way off on this. So what I think is going to happen, just like you were talking about, Jorge Gonzalez doesn't back up. Nope. I think that he's gonna be able to wear down Kenneth Bergh, and he's gonna tire him out. And he's going to make Kenneth Bergh put himself in a situation where he's going to quit on himself. And I think that that's going to happen just simply because of the pressure that Jorge Gonzalez is going to put on him from the beginning. When we look at Kenneth Bergh, when he gets put in bad positions, he just kind of gives up. Those submissions get thrown on. He doesn't really do much to stop him. And he's just out. When he's in bad positions and things start going the wrong way for him, he just sits there. And I have a feeling that he's going to shut down, and it's going to be in the 3rd round. Jorge Gonzalez is going to wear him down and then finish him by TKO in round 3.
It's very, very possible. So it's interesting. Both these guys making their UFC debut, so that's going to be a fun one to watch.
It's going to be fun.
Let's